So let us talk about the last two videos I put up yesterday, the rants. Those of you that are long-term viewers know that, of course, this has been a deployment of mine for years. Always been ranting, always had a bone of contention to pick with the viewers. Why? Because it gains attention and it may give rise to introspection. Because if I just coast along, and if I don't do any rants, and if I don't rattle the viewers' cages, then people are very, very content just to be in a somnambulistic state. They're just sleepwalking through life. And I can see that the viewer is sleepwalking, and I put up what I consider to be profound videos with stuff that really needs contemplating, and people would benefit greatly if they did do that. But I can tell that people aren't doing that because there's no engagement. You know, hardly any thumbs up, so there's been no recognition of the content of what I'm espousing, you see. And if people don't feel compelled to write something, then they haven't felt it inside. So it's always been my desire to try the best I can to enable my viewers to feel what I'm actually saying, because I've said, you know, myriad times that life is a feeling, people. It's a feeling. If we don't feel, then we are dead, aren't we? And if we coast through life and nothing means anything to us, nothing's touching us, all we're doing is looking for the fulfillment and satiation of our own biases. If you want everyone to think like you and you know, say the things you do, then nothing means anything. It's just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and you're all in acknowledgement all the time. Well, where does that get you? It doesn't teach you anything. You'll never learn anything from that, will you? So I do these obnoxious rants, and I'm endeavouring to demean everyone. And, you know, look, I've got lots of long-term viewers that I've spoken to, and we've had a relationship for years. And I'm sure most of the times the things I say, it's water off a duck's back with you guys, because you know by now that these are just games I play. And if I'm screaming everyone's a fucking idiot and I'm so genius, and if you said to me, oh, do you want to chat tomorrow? I'll go, oh, yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about? And you go, my grandmother, you know, she's about to pass, she's got terminal cancer, and, you know, we were close, and I just wondered, you know, what your thoughts are on that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's this guy looking for, or woman, what's she looking for? Obviously looking for something that's philosophical, spiritual, that's marginally comfortable and that sort of thing, and you know, I'll do my best to help out on that. But in the very next video, that I'll probably be calling for the culling of the aged. And so obviously I'm a very complex person, and I don't have any adherences to anything. I don't have any allegiance to anything. I really don't. And people say in the comments, oh, you know, 1 minute you're with the left and then the next minute you're against the left. But by now you should know there is no left and right, and it's all a fiction of your imagination. And if you're going to be choosing one wing of the bird of authority, then you are one of the biggest fools around. There is no left and right in government, people. Government is an entity unto itself, and they're going to do and say absolutely anything to take mastery over you. And of course, for years, since the bread and circus of Rome, they've been doing this same left and right thing of the ego eagle of democracy. Come on, people. There is no left and right. And then when people, get all in a tizzy about Trump's Satan, well, what is Satan? You don't know what Satan is. You need to look into what Satan is. And Satan is just an option. Satan's just an idea, people. And you can project onto Satan whatever you want to. And so, in the past, I've claimed that I'm a Satanist. I'm a Luciferian. Then I have, very often quoted Jesus and, speak about this occasion when the egregore of Jesus seemed to speak with me. Yeah, there's a lot of very, very bizarre stuff that's going on, and these days I'm espousing what Ammon Hillman is saying about Jesus, reading from ancient Greek scripture, and that Jesus was a prepubescent child boy, procuring, drug addicted gang leader. If you watch Ammon Hillman, if you got the stomach for it, then he'll tell you that, at that time they were gangsters and they were lay stacies, they were child traffickers, child procurers, and in those times of Rome and Greece, they never had a word for homosexual, because there wasn't such a thing, because sex was just sex and they'd have sex with whoever and whatever they wanted to. And so if there was not a word for homosexual, then nobody obviously gave it any thought. And it is said that all of the Greek philosophers and anyone that was anyone had an old entourage of boys which they would copulate with. And the reason why they chose boys is because they wouldn't have, hundreds of offspring all over the place that they had to cater for or, be concerned about. So people need to wake up, they need to evolve, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that the vast majority of people are just simply not aware of. People will level at me that, make your mind up what side you're on. And, long-term viewers will know that one video I can seemingly be with the herd, and I can say things about those fuckers, they're manipulating us and they're doing this and they're doing that, and I'm including myself with you, and then the next minute I'm rising above you and everybody and I'm with them and I'm saying that I agree exactly what they say, and we should punish and we should thrash and we should imprison and we should govern and take mastery over the fools down below on the bottom rung of the ladder. I'm not contained to any manifestation of thought, people. And this is why I do big my consciousness up, because I can very, very easily look at the world from as many perspectives as there seem to be out there. I can very well see the eyes through, many people with many visions and ideas and all the rest of it. And if I look at the political left in America, then I can see what they're trying to do. And then when I look from the political right, I can see what they're trying to do. But when we look at the human being, I can see what the human being's trying to do. You see, because we have left and right brains, and they fight against each other all the time. And so all government is a projection of our own humanity. You see, as government, that they're all drinking cognac and smoking cigars together, and they're all doing business together. They're all one party, people. And you can have friends and family living under the same roof, one family, and you go down the pub with your mates, but everyone's got their own political ideas. They've got their own ideas about how they should treat people, and how we should earn a living, and all these different sorts of things. That's the human being. You see, we're not all the same. And, you know, the leftists are doing the best they can to pretend that we're all the same, so they can create one size that fits all, and it's absolutely preposterous. And of course, they've lost the election, they've lost their grounding and their footing, because, you know, initially when you've got a little bit of a movement, it will start to gain energy. But before long, if the energy pertains to falsity, then the energy will wane, and that's what's happened with the political left. You know, all this business about genders and, you know, liberalism and everything like that, at the end of the day, the human being knows that that can never be a reality, because there's so many polarities that have to come into play. And if we look at everybody being liberal about everything, then the world's going to come crashing down, because if everyone's going to be liberal, then nobody's going to be put into prison, and crime's going to skyrocket, and all the rest of this stuff. And, you know, this is what the left has been trying to do, because it's a big political movement, and because it wants to gain numbers, and it thinks that it can appeal to lots of people. Yeah, I don't want law, I don't want to be in prison for this, I don't want to be brought to task for that, so I'll vote for them. But of course, no sooner as they've got your vote and they're in power, well, they'll bring the balance back, because balance has to be brought back. And so this is why when we vote for politicians, they're saying one thing before they're elected, and then as soon as they're elected, the very next day, they're saying another, aren't they? So, you know, we have to know that we can't trust a single one of them. We can't trust anybody. Why can't we trust anybody? Because people, they're not in governance of their own consciousness. They don't know what they're going to do from one minute to the next. And, you know, so many philosophers and psychoanalysts and scientists, you know, spoken about this and are speaking about it today. I'm watching programs whereby scientists are looking at the cellular construct of the human body, and they're saying that we barely know a single thing about it, but what we can start to see is that the human consciousness doesn't have anything to do with the running of the body, and barely anything to do with the notion of free will, because scientists have done so many tests that you know, stand up to scrutiny, which say that, well, the body starts to do things before the mind is even aware of it. And some of you will know there's these experiments done by a guy called Libet, and he was asking people to choose options while the brains are rigged up to an ECG or something, and they were monitoring that the brain had already decided what it's going to do before consciousness was aware of doing it. So consciousness is just along for the ride. It's the fiction of free will, and it's the fiction of having a human experience, that we can choose our own partners, and we can choose our own vocations, and we can choose our own places where we want to live, and, you know, we can choose our own decoration, things like that. I've been saying for years, I didn't choose this. This just happened. I didn't choose anything about my life, it just happened. And what I've learnt along the way is that consciousness is just along for the ride, and it's observant. You see, the greatest asset of the human being is our awareness, and the vast majority of people have very little awareness, so therefore they don't introspect, and they're not aware and present of the human condition and the human state and what's going on in their mind. And so their minds are conjuring up all these different thoughts, and then they are, you know, producing actions, and then the human consciousness after the event is going, oh, I did that, I'm thinking that, it's all me. It's not. It's absolutely not you, whatever you think you are. Let's just say you are consciousness, your awareness. The body isn't you. The body is itself, and the body is doing exactly what it wants to do, what it needs to do for its survival on any given day. And when it's hungry, it tells the mind it's hungry. When it's thirsty, it does the same. When wants to fulfill itself in any shape or form, it does that. And if it's sitting in a room, like, you know, I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago in this apartment, and it was absolutely bare, and I never had a single penny to buy anything, well, I was just like, well, you know, it'll work its way out. It will find a way. And now 6 years on, I look around and I go, well, who did this? And I can't say with good conscience that, oh yes, I chose all these things because of my specific desires for this, that and the other. Why do we have these desires? What is it that moves us? Why does my home look like this and yours doesn't? You know, what's the difference in our minds? Is it all down to our choices? It's not down to our choices. It's just down to the individuals that we are. We have these, you know, individuated excursions through life, and we're gathering up information, knowledge and experience all the time. And those informations and knowledge and experiences are colouring our world, and then we project that back onto the world. And so, for instance, if somebody has the propensity to spend a lot of time in nature, then the chances are they're going to be picking up the odd thing from nature, and they're going to be bringing it back into their home. And then when they're out there and they're enjoying the beautiful foliage and things like that, they might start thinking, well, I'll bring a few plants into the house. And then when they've done that, oh, the walls are a bit bare, what can I do? Wallpaper. Nobody wallpapers these days. Paint. That's a bit boring. And then the idea comes, oh, put a nice tapestry of a forest up there, because then, you know, you like forest and you look out into the garden and you see all those trees. Will bring that into your home. Am I doing it? Who is I? I don't know who I is. I've never found I, people. And anyone that's ever looked for I have never found it either. And so we can readily assume that I doesn't exist. It's just a figment of our imagination. Now, getting back to my videos, I don't care about anything I say. I don't care about anything that you think. It isn't my intention to have you think in any shape or form. All I do is, through whatever governance of the higher self, and whatever I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm going to say. I didn't know I was going to make those videos yesterday. All of a sudden, I just felt an energy, and I felt compelled, and I turned on the camera and I just started unleashing stuff. And I'm always saying spirits are flowing through us, people. And you know, yesterday afternoon I had a very belligerent, a vociferous, supercilious spirit, but now that spirit is subsided, and there's another one that's more calm and collected, and you know, willing to try to reach out to you in another way. And so people who look at me, who don't understand human psychology, they don't understand what we are as humans, they don't understand me in any shape or form, they start saying, oh, because people don't come to talk to him, he's angry because people don't watch his videos, oh, he's throwing a tantrum, this, that and the other. Look, you can hear that my voice is tired already. I do too much talking. If someone wanted to come to talk to me, I'd say, okay, or let's do it in a couple of days' time, because I've been doing a lot of singing and I'm tired. Let's bring it down to like 1.5 hours maximum, because otherwise it gets too tiring. I couldn't possibly talk to hardly anybody, really. You know, 2 times a week, maybe for an hour here and an hour there, absolute maximum. Because I make too many videos and I'm singing every day, or almost every day. I'm compelled to sing every day. I can't have time off because my body doesn't want to. The singing spirit within me wants to sing and play guitar and enjoy himself all the time. But I can't because it gets tiresome. And so when I'm saying, you don't come to speak to me, you know, I don't want you to speak to me. I really don't. You know, on let's say 99%, I don't want you to speak to me. I think, well, why would I want you to speak to me? What are you going to have to say to me that's going to change my life? You know, you're the ones that are watching my videos. I'm not watching your videos. And even if you have them, I don't watch them. Because why would I want to look down? Some of you may think that's demeaning, but you know, I'm looking up, and I'm scouting across the world with literature and videos and this, that and the other, because I'm looking up. I'm looking up for people to tell me something that I'm not aware of, or for something that is going to fit one small jigsaw puzzle in my picture of life, you see. And then when I'm saying about read my book, you fucking idiots, I don't care whether you read my book. I don't care whether you buy my book. It's not going to make any difference to me at all. If I sold 100,000 copies, then okay, you know, that would make a difference, and I'd go, what am I going to do with that money? You know, I'll buy an electric mountain bike. You know, I like the idea of an electric mountain bike. What else do I want? Nothing. Do I want any more clothes? No. I wear the same things. I've got clothes on my wardrobe rack that I haven't worn in years. I've got like 15 shirts on there, and I just wear the same 2 or 3 shirts all the time because they're comfortable, and I don't need to make any effort, and I just wear this. I've had this like 6 years now, something like that. And you know, the same old stretch pants. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to buy anything. I've got everything I want. I don't need any more guitars. I don't need nothing. And so why would I want you to buy my book to make me rich? It doesn't make any difference to me at all. And, you know, I say buy my book, idiots, because it seems to me that you need to broaden your horizons. So it's for your benefit. When I say buy my book, you idiots, or, you know, watch my videos or whatever, it's for your benefit. Because obviously you're here for your benefit, and something is benefiting you from my videos, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And let's just speak about trolls a little bit. You know, these days I've got very, very few trolls. Simply because trolls know that I won't stand for them. And if they want the facility to comment on this channel, then they're best mind the P's and Q's. And when they start making ad hominem attacks on me, I will point out to them, by now you should have the ability to form better opinions than that, because some of the people that, you know, are trolling, they've watched me for years. They actually stalk me, and even if I throw them in the snake pit, they can be in the snake pit for 6 months or a year, and then I'll have an amnesty day and I'll release them, and then they'll be back on, and then immediately they're there. They've never left. And it's kind of like, what power do I have over you? What level of hypnosis are you under that you hang on my every word and you're watching all my videos, and then when you've got the opportunity, you want to tell me, you know, how I'm doing it wrong? Because look, when we get into a state of kind of like awakeness or enlightenment, there's other people around which consider that they're in the same state, and you know, that they become your adversary. For those of you that remember that movie with so what's his name? It's called Unbreakable, with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. And Samuel L. Jackson is a cripple. He's got some bone depleting disease, and he's very brittle. He can't get out of his wheelchair because, you know, even just a walk would snap his bones. And so he becomes the adversary of Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis is like a Superman. He's never been ill, and, you know, he's like he can't die because there's all these tragedies and these train crashes and plane crashes and all this sort of thing, and he's the only survivor. And so the nemesis, Mr. Glass, because he's as brittle as glass, then, you know, seeks him out and, you know, just engages with him, because that's what they do. That's what opposites do. That's why you've got Batman and the Joker. That's why you've got Superman and whatever other nemesis they have and all this sort of thing, people. And so, you know, people they want to tell me that they're wiser than me and they're more spiritual than me. I don't care, you know, what you are or what you think you are. You know, I will tell you that, you know, I'm vastly more superior than you, and I'm a genius, to give you the opportunity to joust with me, to bring you out of the woodwork. And so then, you know, I can see what you've got to say. And, you know, for a period, often it's marginally interesting. But people, they run out of things which are interesting, and they start just, you know, projecting a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, all you're doing now is projecting your childhood trauma onto me. And so, you know, I can listen to that, but I'm going to need paying. It's called therapy. So here's my email. You can come and, you know, you can have some therapy. Or I say to everybody, I give everybody the opportunity to come and talk to me. If you've got a bone of contention with me, then come and talk to me, you know, because there's nothing more I would enjoy than that. When people say to me, oh, you say this and you say that, I very readily and happily just put them right as to why I'm saying this and why I'm saying that. And invariably, I'm saying this and that just because I can, not because I mean it, not because, you know, I have any belief or structure to anything, because I don't. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in life itself. It's all a dream in cosmic consciousness. I don't believe that. That's what I know. That's what intuitive I know. That's what my experience has been on this in this dimension, in this paradigm, in this simulation, in this dream, whatever it is. And I've read many other very intelligent people's accounts that think the same. And I'm like, well, that fits with what my experience is and how I feel. And so when I make these belligerent videos, you know, overnight I've got like 15 more subscribers. And it's kind of like, you see, when I watch the analytics, I put up a video and I analyse the viewers, and I'm seeing from that video what happens to the subscriber level, how many leave and how many come. Now, always the case, whenever I am calling Jesus a paedophile, or I'm calling you, the viewers, muppets and degenerates and all this, well, there'll be 1 or 2 subscribers go away. But then there'll be another 10 or 15 which will, you know, come about within a 12-hour period. And I'm almost positive that even the ones that go, I'm sort of subscribing from you, you're saying my Jesus is Bender, the next day they'll be subscribing again, because they're so compelled, they're so in awe, they're so under some sort of level of hypnosis. They're just, you know, I'm not the Truman Show, aren't I? You don't know what I'm going to do next. And there's a level of intrigue there, and so people are massively intrigued by that sort of thing. You know, once they get a little bit of a level of understanding with me, you see, people, they have to get through the first half a dozen videos. If they can get through the first half a dozen videos, and they'll feel comfortable with that, then they'll be on one hell of a roller coaster ride. But if people come on to my videos and like, you know, they come on and they see me with Providence, and they go, oh, this guy, he's so gentle, he's so nice, he loves nature, oh, I love nature, I'll subscribe to him. And then the next day they hear me calling Jesus a paedophile. It's kind of like, what the fuck? I never saw that coming. They don't see stuff coming. I'm too broad, I'm just too out there for most people's constitution. You see, my voice is tired already, and so how can I talk to people every day? I can't, and I don't want to. And, you know, a couple of messages just come through to my phone. I don't like that. I don't like anybody messaging me on my phone. I go with it, you know, out of courtesy, and it's kind of like, yeah, you know, it's a part of being human, Aaron. You know, you got to allow some people to contact you if they want to include you in their life as a friend. You can't be a mountain. You can't be out there all on your own all the time. And so there's a little bit of a facet of me which engages in that a little bit, even though I don't really overtly like to encourage it, because I don't like listening to messages. You know, I'm making a video, then messages going off, or I'm recording one of my songs and then messages are coming through. I don't like that stuff. And you know, nobody will ever knock on my door, you know, because they know that that's not acceptable for me. I just don't like that. And I'm not this sort of person that has a friend, keeps in contact all the time, and you know, we see each other all the time and we're part of each other's lives. No, I don't want that. I just want to be completely, absolutely free. And I want to be able to sit in my home 24 hours a day, knowing that nobody's ever going to call me, nobody's ever going to text me, nobody's ever going to knock on my door, nobody's ever going to break my tranquility. That's what I love. And so those of you that are thinking different things, oh, he's angry because people don't do this and don't do that, it is exactly how I want it to be. And it absolutely has to be exactly how I want it to be, because if you rationalise yourself, you get the impression that I'm a rational person, I'm a logical person, I'm an intelligent person. And so do you seriously think that by me calling all of my viewers complete fucking retards, that's going to help me speak with more people? No, it does exactly what I want to happen. It keeps everyone away. You see? It's reverse psychology, people, but you're not bright enough to understand that, most of you. Having said that, you know, because I only get a couple, there's just been two, you know, and they're just idiots. They're just idiots. But, you know, I you know, have to give my viewers the grace, most of you, that you do have some sort of handle on what I'm about, because you don't give it all this, and you know, you're not unsubscribing, and you're not getting all in the tizzy, because you know what I'm about. And you know, how many people like this level of belligerence? This is a question I want to ask you, so bear this in mind, write it down now so you don't forget. I want to ask you, the viewer, why is it that you like these belligerent videos? Because they most certainly are the most popular, they most certainly get the most thumbs up, they most certainly get the most comments, and invariably they'll get more hits than anything else. And so, you know, I could speculate, or it's because of this, or it's because of that, but of course everybody's different, and I've got no idea of looking into all of your minds. And so why don't you tell me what it is? You know, some people will go, yeah, I love it how you just stick it to the man. I love your energy, I wish I was as energized as you. I love it how you have the audacity to say whatever you want and without any fear. I love it how you're not tied and bound to begging subscribers and likes and this, that and the other. I don't beg for subscribers and likes, do I? I say, hey, cunts, put a fucking thumb up if you're watching the fucking video. What's wrong with you? You fucking retards. If you come back again, you obviously like the videos, don't you? You see, I'm looking inside your pea brain, you know, so do it. Do it. Why? Oh, because it helps the algorithms and other people think that that's a good video. I don't care. I just do things like that, people. I just do it to agitate you. I just do it to rattle your cages. I do it because I can. And, you know, in videos, only about a month ago, I was saying, look, all of you viewers, surely you've got something better to do than watch my videos. Why don't you just fucking go and shag your missus, or, you know, go and walk in the park, take your dog for a walk, or go and play with your cat, or there must be a million fucking things that you can do instead of watching my videos. And so I say, just subscribe and go and live your life. What is all this bullshit, you know, we're transfixed on these gadgets? You know, I say all that, don't I? So I say everything, people. But, you know, lots of people, they only want to tune into one thing. It's the thing where they're triggered, and, you know, they want to give it all this. And, you know, I have to say that outside of the Jesus fraternity, outside of the most hypnotized people on the planet, then the rest of you pretty well have got abreast of you know what I'm doing here. And the trolls, they are the ones that have an infatuation with me. They've been around for so many years, I can never get rid of them. And if I do put them in the snake pit, so they can't comment. I call it in the snake pit, just for those of you that don't know. It's a metaphor. You know, I grab them by their neck and I throw them in the snake pit, which is dark and dank, and they just, you know, they've got, you know, 6 months to contemplate, you know, their error and their audacity. You see, I'm just playing, I'm just fucking with people because I can. And then I let them out again so they can fuck with me again. And then they fuck with me again. And then maybe I'll put them back in again. Just doing it because I can, people. But anyway, let me just wrap this video up. Let me just say that it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It doesn't matter what Trump said. It doesn't matter what Kamala said. It doesn't matter what Rogan said. It doesn't matter what J-Lo says. It doesn't matter what that pedo Hank fucking, what's his name, Tom Hanks says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It really is of no consequence. Unless you embody it, unless you take it on, unless you allow that energy to come into your body, then it is of consequence because it affects you, it affects your inner core. Don't allow the things I say to affect your inner core. Just listen to what I say, just listen to what anybody says, knowing that you are protected. You see, people, you have to protect yourselves. And in my book, you'll learn something about how to do that. We protect ourselves from opinions and thoughts and other people's vibrations. We have to be absolutely settled in our core. We have to know what we are. We have to know our powers. We have to know the deficits. We have to know the weaknesses, whatever the weaknesses that we've had in the past. We have to build up our fortifications. We have to strengthen all of the weak areas. And we have to have a great level of realization about what we are. And then when we listen to stuff, we won't be penetrated, and we won't feel this or won't feel that, and we won't get emotional. And this is why, you know, I'll just have the amnesty day for all the trolls and I'll let them all out. And I say, today I'm releasing Barabbas. Just like not King Herod, no, it was like Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate released Barabbas and gave the instruction to crucify Jesus because that's what the people wanted. And so, you know, I invite the trolls back to have a troll fest, and then I watch it and I see what happens and I'll engage in it a little bit like this. And then when they get out their tree and they think they've got power, I say, excuse me, you don't have any power. Why? Because this is my channel. You'll have a little bit of power, a little bit like this, on your channel. So if you're so wise, you're so great, then go on your channel. But you don't have channels, do you? Because you can't talk. You can't show your face, can you? You're not real. And so I go, well, just go back in the snake pit until you evolve, and then maybe one day you will evolve, and then you get your own channel, and then you can say what you want, and then you can block whoever you want, and all this sort of stuff. So I say everything and anything. I've got no constraints about saying nothing, people, and I don't necessarily have an agenda. You know, in this moment in time, because I've been listening to a lot of Ammon Hillman, then I'm learning new stuff about what people wrote about Jesus, and that the satanistic cult. I mean, it's just plain as day when you read ancient texts that they're all worshipping Satan, and Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, Jehovah is Satan, people. And then you think that Jesus is is the light and he's the good, but when you look into the text, you find that he was a drug-addicted pedo. Wow, that's kind of bizarre, isn't it? It's all out there if you want it. And so I'm engaged currently at that, and then I'll be engaged in something else at another time. You know, because there's been new scrolls found. The latest one with Enoch has just been discovered. And then, you know, when Madame Blavatsky was writing The Secret Doctrine and ISIS Unveiled in 1875, she wasn't aware of the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Nag Hammadi Scrolls. She had, you know, certain scrolls to go on, but if she was privy to those, oh wow, it'd be a whole different ballgame. But we're discovering new things all the time, and so the spanner's being thrown in the works, and things are being mixed up and changed, and that's the nature of human consciousness. So my advice is don't take any of it serious, because it really doesn't matter. There is no matter, so that's why it doesn't matter. And the only way you can ever be affected by anything is if you allow yourself to be affected. If you allow spiritual energy in, if you allow belligerent energy, persecutory energy, if you allow controlling energy, if you allow anxiety, if you allow fear, if you allow this stuff to come and permeate your very being, then you'll be feeling it, and you'll be exhibiting it, and you'll be expressing it, and you'll be projecting it, and you'll be suffering from the ramifications of it. But when you become an enlightened being, then you can protect yourself from all of that, because you know that none of it is real. And the only thing is real, that you are what you are. I am that I am. We are shards of God consciousness dreaming en masse. And so everything is in the mind and dream of God. And we are just homunculus, like the homunculus within our minds, our consciousness. When we go to sleep at night, we create a homunculus there. Well, the mind of God, the cosmic consciousness, is created all of these different homunculuses, and we think we're having an experience in our own right, when in actual fact we are cosmic consciousness en masse. That's what we are, people. It's like saying we are every individual cell in our body. Every individual cell in our body is having an individuated experience. It's doing whatever it does, whenever it you know, needs to do this, that and the other. But, you know, is that really the thing that's having the experience? Well, no, it's the body that's having the experience, isn't it? It's all that stuff together, trillions and trillions of cells that have come together to create the experience of the body, and then billions and billions of neurons that come together to create what we consider to be consciousness. But consciousness is outside of the neurons and the brain and all that. The brains and the neurons are within consciousness, people. This is where it gets very, very paradoxical, very, very counterintuitive for most people, until you become enlightened. And then when you're enlightened, that it all makes perfect, simple sense. So, there you have it. Yesterday you had one variety of energy, today you got another. What are you going to get tomorrow? Let's find out, shall we?